Welcome back to Learn EPS System of Astrology videos. In this video, I am going to explain you about the important element called key planets. What are key planets? Let me explain with an example. Let us check chart number 1. Look at the self-signification table given below. As I explained in the previous video, what are self-signification? Each planet's cuspal lordship, occupying house, and cuspal star lordship and cuspal sublordship all are considered as the self-signification of a planet. A planet can have many houses. According to the event, that houses may be favorable or unfavorable. For example, for any event where we are talking about whether Ketu is supportive for an event or Venus is supportive for a particular event, based on the event, favorable houses, we have to take it whether the planet is having favorable house in the cuspal lordship, further supported by favorable house in the occupying house, further supported by the cuspal star lordship, and further supported by the authority house, cuspal sublordship. In all levels, if it is having, or in consequent levels, if it is having favorable houses, that planet is a strong significator or strong, planet for the particular event. Depending on the houses involved, we can say that planet strength favorable is more or less. Similarly, for the unfavorable side also, a planet for the particular event, it may have some unfavorable houses in the CL and OCC, and as it moves from left to right, whether it is unfavorable houses are further supported more and more and further supported by the cuspal sublord. Based on that, that unfavorable strength will be high. That planet will be more unfavorable. But a planet cannot be, we cannot say that all planets will have both favorable only or unfavorable only. It can have both mixed favorable also, unfavorable also. It means a planet can have favorable in the CL, may not be having in OCC, but it can have a good favorable houses in the cuspal star lordship, and it may have cuspal sublordship favorable or unfavorable. Depending on that, whether it is having, as it moves from left to right, favorable or supported further, or with the unfavorable in between and further supported by the favorable, depending on that, that planet favorable strength is more or unfavorable strength is more, and we can analyze a planet favorable strength and unfavorable strength. But in this self-signification, we can have that both favorable and unfavorable houses together to differentiate the favorable strength and unfavorable strength. If we are having these favorable houses and unfavorable houses in a separate row, it will be more easier for the analysis. For example, if you take for the event of marriage, look at the tables given at the left hand side. You can see all planets. You can see that all planets favorable and unfavorable are given one below the other. Same Ketu 10, 1, 5, 9, 11 houses, but here 10th house is occupying house is unfavorable, which is given in the red background, and cuspal star lordship and cuspal sublordship favorable are given on the favorable. So you can see that house grouping, we can analyze the strength of each planet. For example, Ketu is occupying 10th house, but further not supported by the star lordship and sublordship, but favorable supports are present, so its unfavorable strength is reduced, though it is occupying 10th house, but favorable strength is increasing. That way, each planet strength can be favorable strength and unfavorable strength can be ascertained with some sort of condition. That will explain you. Apart from this, you can see in that self, how we are talking about self, you can see that each planet as I discussed in the earlier video, that node planet. What are node planets? Rahu, Ketu and their sign lord. They are the node planets. Whenever we are talking about those node planets, whenever Ketu is coming, that sign lord, suppose Ketu is occupying the sign of Saturn, so we take Saturn signification also here. Whenever you are talking about Saturn, Ketu also we are considering in the self significations, in the analysis. Similarly, when moon is coming, Rahu is occupying the sign of moon, Rahu also considered. Then Rahu, when we are taking that, moon also has to be considered. So in that way, when we are studying each planet left to right strength, we have to take the second planet, that is node planet planet, second planet signification also into the analysis. For that, we take that sign columns. In that, the node planets, second planets significations are taken here. For example, Ketu second planet Saturn is Saturn significations are shown here. Moon second planet is Rahu. Rahu is shown here, and Rahu's second planet is Moon. That significations are shown here. You can see that second planet of that Ketu Saturn has got no background shade, whereas Moon second planet has got background shade equal to the self signification. It means Moon has got that second planet Rahu in the sign link, whereas Ketu, the second planet Saturn, is not having any sign link. What is sign link? As you know that Ketu is in the sign of Saturn, Saturn is the sign lord. So that is what we are taking that sign lord significations here. But apart from that being the sign lord for Ketu, if Saturn is having conjunction with Ketu, or Saturn is aspecting to Ketu, or it is having some indirect conjunction to Ketu, it will form that sign link. It means that impact of that Saturn second planet will be more. If it is not having such combination, that impact will be moderate. In this case, Saturn is not forming any sign link. That impact of that sign link is less. Impact of the sign column signification Saturn will be moderate, whereas Moon has got Rahu in the sign with the sign link. That impact will be more. There is one more condition for the sign link also. What is that? If the second planet, if it is a free planet, you can see Moon is in the sign of Leo, Rahu in the sign of Moon. But there is no other connection between sign that Rahu and the Moon. But Rahu is the free planet. You can see that star symbol here. So that if the second planet is Rahu, that planet is a free planet. It becomes strong. So that is being considered as if it is performing sign link to the Moon. It means that impact will be more. Similarly, there is one more column called sign exchange. What are sign exchange? You can see Saturn is occupying the sign of Mercury. Mercury is occupying the sign of Saturn. It means both the planets in each other sign, their impact will be equally shared between each other. It means like Rahu, like as we discussed for Moon, that Saturn second planet Ketu, without any sort of sign link, it is present here. But Saturn has got sign exchange with Mercury, that is equal to sign link. That houses will be shown within bracket. It means the within bracket houses are the houses signified by the sign exchange planet. So that way, we can see that in sign column, sign exchange planet and sign link planet, or without sign link planet, that second planet significations are shown here. So when we are studying each planet signification, we have to study favorable left to right. We have to study and what supports that it is getting from the sign columns also have to be studied. For favorable have to be studied first, and we can study the unfavorable strength, whether in the self favorable strength is more further supported by the sign, and unfavorable is present, and whether further supported by the sign columns also we can study. So based on certain conditions, certain rules, we can analyze each planet favorable strength and unfavorable strength. These are the important points to be considered to know the planet is favorable strength is having more, or a planet's unfavorable strength is more. Basically, there are four conditions. For example, for the favorable, to know the favorable strength is more, look at the favorable houses from CL, OCC, Cuspal, Star Lord and Cuspal Sublord when you are studying from left to right. If more number of levels are having that favorable houses, it means consequent levels. If your planet is having favorable houses, it is getting more strength. Second point, among those houses, if role of primary house is also playing, what is primary house? That is primary favorable house. For the event of marriage, it is 7th house. For the event of childbirth, 5th house. So like that, among the presence of favorable houses, if the primary house is also present, it is also adding more value. Then third point is that role of 11th house and 2nd house. presence of 11th house and second house in this favorable house grouping, automatically that planet is getting more strength. Please note that second house will be favorable, for all most of the events, but only for the health related event that will become unfavorable. Then third point is role of important point is that role of cuspal sublord. If a planet can have many houses in CL, OCC and cuspal star lord, if it is also having a cuspal sublord also in that cuspal sublord also it is having the favorable house, then it is becoming more value. The strength is increasing. So we cannot expect each and every planet can have all four conditions fulfilled. It may have only two, three conditions will be fulfilled, but depending on the houses involved, then we can identify the strength of that planet, whether favorable strength is more or less. Similarly, you have to identify the unfavorable strength also. In case of unfavorable, same conditions like unfavorable houses are present on consequent levels and role of primary unfavorable house. And in place of 2 and 11 for what we are talking for the favorable, we will be considering the 12th house and 8th house on the unfavorable side. Then similarly, the role of unfavorable, house in the cuspal sublord. So that way, that unfavorable strength is also can be the strength of unfavorable planet can be identified. If all four conditions are fulfilled, or strongly the 12 and 8 are present, cuspal sublord is present, and consequent levels are present, that planet will become more unfavorable. That is strong unfavorable key planet. For example, look at that Saturn. Saturn unfavorable, look at that all consequent levels are having unfavorable houses, and role of primary house 6 is present, and role of 8 and 12 also present, and role of cuspal sublord is also present. So this planet is becoming more unfavorable strain. Among that, if the role of cuspal sublord, if it is instead of that 4 and 10, if it is 6 house is present, the primary house itself it is present, that unfavorable strength will becoming more. So based on the favorable strain and based on the unfavorable strain, a planet's strength is determined. Not just with the favorable house grouping, we can say that planet will be a good planet, strong key planet. A planet can have a favorable conditions, with less unfavorable condition, then the planet will become strong. Because when a planet having less unfavorable, automatically the favorable strength is becoming automatically is getting more. Similarly, a planet having less favorable conditions, but unfavorable conditions are more, automatically unfavorable strength is becoming more. So in that way, we can identify by looking at the favorable and unfavorable. We can see that planet favorable strength is more or unfavorable strength is more. You can see here Ketu has got favorable conditions 1, 5, 9 and 11. Favorable houses are present consequent levels, it is good, but unfavorable only 10th house without any sort of houses in the subsequent levels. But you look at that sign columns where it is going to give some moderate support. That Ketu has got 11 and 1 and 7 cuspal sublord. It is not two consequent levels, but presence of 11th house, presence of cuspal sublord, the two primary house, it is adding value. And look at that unfavorable, very good house grouping of unfavorable, it is present. So this planet has got favorable is present, good favorable house grouping present in the self, but unfavorable is more in the sign also. So the planet has got a mixed key planet, favorable also present, unfavorable also present. Then look at that Venus. Look, Venus has got no unfavorable house grouping, but favorable house grouping are present. Along with that, 7th house and 2 and 11 also present, and cuspal sublord is also present. So absence of unfavorable and presence of strong favorable house grouping with all conditions, this is a strong key planet. Then look at Sun. Sun has got 5 and 11. It is good, but it is not having any further houses. But look at that unfavorable. It has got in OCC 12th house also, and 6 and 10 in the cuspal star lord. The Sun planet occupying 11th house, but very close to the 12th cusp in this particular chart. So it is being considered both 11 and 12 in the OCC. So 12 is becoming unfavorable and supported by the 6 and 10. So two consequent levels are having unfavorable house grouping, two consequent levels having favorable house grouping. But here the advantage is that on the favorable side, presence of primary unfavorable house, and 12th house and 10th house also present. So this strength is more. Here favorable is 5 and 11 are there, but after that it is not having any favorable strength. So unfavorable strength is becoming more than the favorable. So like that we have to analyze each planet's strength, whether favorable or more or unfavorable or more. That way we can easily identify that favorable is strong favorable key planet, or it is going to be unfavorable key planet, or it can be mixed key planet. For example, what is mixed key planet? You can see, you can look at that Saturn has got 11th house and 1 and 7 cuspal sublord. It means for the event of marriage, 7th house is the strong favorable key planet, I mean favorable house, being 7th cuspal sublord, and 11th, first cuspal sublord and 11th cuspal lord. This planet favorable strength is present, but it is not having any favorable house grouping in OCC and cuspal star lord. But look at that unfavorable, it has got all unfavorable houses along with that 6th house, 8 and 12 houses, and the cuspal sublord is also playing. So the unfavorable house grouping is very strong, but being 7th cuspal sublord, primary cuspal sublord, and 11th lord, and also first cuspal sublord, this planet favorable strength is also present, but unfavorable strength is also more. Look at the sign column. Saturn has got very good house grouping in the sign column, and on the unfavorable side, it has got similarly unfavorable house grouping 6th house, 10th house, and 6 and 12 cuspal sublord. It is present. So it is unfavorable house grouping also very strong in the sign column. So it means that planet has got both favorable and unfavorable. That is called a mixed key planet. So you understand, this Saturn is a mixed key planet. So it means we have to keep it in mind that even a planet can be a 7th cuspal sublord, which is the primary house for the marriage destiny, deciding planet, that is 7th Saturn, because being 7th cuspal sublord, even if it is 7th cuspal sublord, if it's CLOCC cuspal star lord are not having favorable house grouping, that planet, though it is 7th cuspal sublord, its strength will be comparatively lesser. Similarly, even if it is unfavorable 6th cuspal sublord, if it is not having any other supportive houses, then it is not going to be completely unfavorable. That we have to keep it in mind. So here it has got favorable house grouping is present only here, and supported by the sign column. So favorable strength is on the higher side, but unfavorable side is more in self itself, further supported by the sign column. So this planet is a mixed planet. So that way a planet can have favorable or unfavorable. Look at this, what is unfavorable? Look at this Mercury. Lot of 3 and 11, it is good, but no other levels are having favorable house grouping. No primary house is present, no cuspal sublord is present, but 11 is present, it is good only. But look at that unfavorable 6th lord, no consequent levels, but deciding factor is that cuspal sublord for 6 and 12. So this unfavorable strength is more than the favorable. This planet is basically becoming unfavorable. But look at that sign column supports, that Mercury has got favorable supports in the favorable and the sign column, and unfavorable also strongly playing. So basically this planet Mercury in the self itself is unfavorable, further supported by the sign column unfavorable grouping. But this is not going to be completely unfavorable, because it has got favorable some houses and supported by the sign column. So this planet Mercury basically is unfavorable is more. This is unfavorable key planet. So a planet can become favorable like this, or it can become unfavorable like this, or it can become moderate. You can see this is 5 and 11, but 12 and 6. This is also not a mixed key planet, but strength is comparatively lesser when compared to Mercury, because here 6, 12 and 10 are there, only OCC and CST. Here it has got CS, cuspal sublord itself is 6 and 12 is present. So that way we can find whether the planet is more favorable or more unfavorable or moderate. You can see Mars 1, 11 and 2. It is good because cuspal sublord is playing, consequent levels are having. No primary house, but 11 is present and second is present, but unfavorable side has got 8 and 12. So though it is not having any cuspal star lord and sublord unfavorable, but 8 and 12 houses, basically they are having obstacle giving houses, so the favorable strength is little bit reduced. That way we can identify the favorable and unfavorable and mixed key planets. One point we have to keep it in mind: a planet can have a moderate signification. I mean, it means not very favorable also, not strongly unfavorable also, or it can have favorable along with that some unfavorable house grouping. The planet, key planet, if it is having other good key planet in the supports, it means suppose a planet Mars is there, it is having favorable house grouping along with the 8 and 12. If this Mars is having Venus, Venus is a very good key planet, favorable key planet. If Mars is conjoined with Venus, or Mars is aspected by Venus, or Mars is in the sign of Venus, in that way, Mars is connected, getting support of that Venus, automatically the Mars strength becoming increasing because of the support from the other key planet. It means a favorable key planet can support another planet by way of supports. That way we can identify each planet favorable strength and unfavorable strength. It is a favorable key planet or unfavorable key planet or mixed key planet. By this way we can identify. I mean, look at that shades have been given for each planet. Based on the favorable strength and unfavorable strength, the software will automatically, it will give some sort of color. With the color, we can identify whether some idea about that planet's strength. Look at that Venus is a very good house grouping on favorable side. You can see dark green color. It means it has got strong favorable house grouping. Look at that sun, it has got 5 and 11, but unfavorable 12, 6 and 10 are the little bit favorable is lesser, but unfavorable is more. So that is the reason you can see that color of that sun is towards red, but very light red. But look at Mars and Rahu, favorable houses are present, unfavorable is less. So the favorable strength green is indicated, but it is not dark because that unfavorable house is also present. So like that, we can identify that software will with the background shade. It is called a key planet shade. We can identify that what could be that overall strength of that key planet. Look at that Saturn dark pink. Dark pink means it has got a mixed favorable and unfavorable strong key planet. Light pink means favorable strength will be there and unfavorable strength will be little bit on the higher side. If it is a blue color means normally we know that blue means it is moderate. It will have a favorable also, unfavorable also at moderate level. Then if it is red color is present in this chart, red color is not there or brown color is not there. If it is towards red means that planet unfavorable strength is more. So like that, by looking at the shade of the key planet, we can identify that overall strength of that planet, whether it is favorable key planet or unfavorable key planet or moderate key planet or mixed key planet, we can identify. So that will give us some indication, but by looking at that house grouping only, we can identify the actual strength of that particular planet. So that way, this key planet shades will be more useful. In what way it will be more useful? In studying the house grouping table, all planets in the house grouping table will have that background shade of that key planets. So that way, we can identify whether the planet or star lord of the star lord or sub lord and star lord of the sub lord, if they are all playing, they are having that whether these key planets are playing. So by looking at the shade, what sort of key planet is playing at what level, we can identify. That is an important point while studying in the house grouping. We can identify. When I'm going to discuss about this analysis through the house grouping table in the coming videos, I will explain about that. Now let me explain you about other benefits of these key planets. You know that when you are studying all 9 planets individually, their self-significations carefully, if each planet are having that unfavorable houses to the lagna, basically 8th house and 12th house, if along with that 6 is also adding hands, then automatically that unfavorable strength will be more. If each planet has got the combination of 8 and 12 in each planet and the unfavorable set it is having, automatically it indicates that native, most of the planets are having 8 and 12 combination, means that that native is going to face hurdles in his life, because though these individual planets are not going to give their independent result, they are going to act as the star lord and sublord only. But when most of the planets are having the combination of 8 and 12, then automatically any planet, if it is running as the dasa, bukti or antra, definitely their star lord or sublord will, any other planet only is going to act automatically. Somehow or the other, most of the planets as they are running dasa bhukti yantra will face some sort of troubles. It means native will face some sort of hurdles. So whether hurdles are present or not, depending on that unfavorable house grouping, and also depending on the favorable house grouping, that level of unfavorable will be there. But when most of the planets are having that unfavorable house grouping, we can say that basically that planet, that native has got many planets having unfavorable. So I mean that that native will have more hurdles in his life. Similarly, many planets are not having this 8 and 12. In their in their unfavorable, then automatically it indicates that that native will not have much trouble in his life, which will not have any much unfavorable obstacles and hurdles in his life. Depending on the favorable strength of the houses, automatically that native is going to face more favorable prospects in the life or not, we can also identify. So it means that by looking at all 9 planets individually, we can identify the overall chart's favorable strength and unfavorable strength also. Now let us talk about that marriage key planets. I mean, based on these conditions we discussed, when we are analyzing all 9 planets, we can come to know that favorable key planets and unfavorable key planets and mixed key planets also, like I have given here. For example, what are the favorable key planets? Venus is favorable key planet. You can see favorable key planets. Whatever Rahu favorable house grouping is present along with that support, but unfavorable is very less, so it is also coming under favorable. And Moon representing Rahu, so that is one important point. Moreover, Moon is also having 5 and 2 consequent levels, but unfavorable is present only 8th sublord and 4, but no other consequent levels are present. No 12 is present, no favorable, unfavorable 6 house is present. Apart from that, in the sign columns also, it is not having any much support. So Moon is also coming under favorable, but when compared to Venus and Rahu, Moon is comparatively lesser, but still it is coming under favorable. Then Mars is good, 1, 11 and second cuspal sublord, but presence of 8 and 12, it is making that unfavorable also present like obstacles. So it is coming under favorable, but when compared to Moon and Rahu, then it is coming under next because of the 8 and 12, I mean because of the obstacles. Otherwise, Mars is also a good planet. Then unfavorable key planet, as I said, Mercury is unfavorable and Sun is also unfavorable, because Sun 5 and 11 favorable is okay, but 12, 6 and 10 two consequent level, the role of 6 and 12, no, after this no favorable strength houses are present. So this is taking upper hand. So this is coming under unfavorable. But when compared to Mercury, that Sun is coming next only. That is the reason it has got light pink shade, because favorable grouping also present, little bit less, but unfavorable house grouping is more with a strong. Then mixed key planet. What are mixed key planet? You can see Jupiter has got favorable and also unfavorable. Then Ketu has got favorable house grouping and unfavorable is very less, but in the support it has got, in the sign it has got unfavorable strength. Unfavorable also present. So it has got mixed. Then Saturn. 11, 1 and 7 cuspal sublot, but all unfavorable house grouping is present. Along with favorable strength is also more and unfavorable strength is also more. This is all coming under mixed. So by looking at this, what is the benefit of it? As we know that the planet which are all having these favorable house groupings, sorry, favorable key planets in their star lord and their sublord, automatically they are going to be the strong significator for the event of marriage. The planet which are having these unfavorable key planet in their star and sum, they are going to be unfavorable for the particular event. Then if the planet which are having that mixed planets in their star lord and sublord, automatically they are going to give them mixed significations. So in that way we can identify planets which are all having these all levels, planet, star lord, 2a level, sublord, and star lord of the sublord, all are having these favorable key planets, then it is going to be very good. Then we cannot expect such combination. But important levels of star level and sub level, your planet is having favorable. Other levels, that planet level and 2a level and star lord of the sublord, these levels are ruled by mixed key planet. Then that along with that favorable mixed also playing in this level, automatically that planet favorable strength will be more and unfavorable strength will be comparatively lesser. By studying like this, we can identify the planets, or which are the planets are strong significator for the event of marriage or any other event. Such identification is possible with the help of that built tool in our software. I will explain you about the usage of the key planets, such key planets, whether the planets are playing and what levels they are playing. We can identify from the table easily. By manually we can check and we can easily identify. Just with the clicks we can identify with the help of the filter tool that the strong significator of favorable or unfavorable we can identify. Well, when I'm going to explain in the coming videos about the key planets and their usage in the field, then you will understand. So by this way, the key planets are going to be the very good element in identifying the strength of each planet, as well as finding the significators for the particular event. So it is always recommended to have a good study on these key planets. It means self signification of individual planets before going to study in-depth analysis on each planets, their signification by level to level study, planet, star lord, sublord, star lord of the sublord. Before going to such study, you have to study each planet self-signification separately, all 9 planets together. By this way, we can identify, but that native has got many planets having unfavorable house grouping, especially with unfavorable houses, trouble giving houses to the Lagna, 8 and 12 houses, or 6, 8, 12 combination, or 4, 8, 12 combination strongly with less favorable house grouping. We can identify whether the natives overall, that native has got more unfavorable signification, general prospects, or by looking at the favorable house grouping or more, many planets are having favorable house grouping to the Lagna, that native is going to have good prospects. So, by studying these key planets alone, it will give you a very good picture, clear picture on that particular native's overall prospects. So, it is always recommended to spend some time on these key planets before going into the in-depth analysis for the particular event. I hope you understand the usage of these key planets. Anyway, in the coming videos, I am going to explain you about this usage of key planets in the analysis of house grouping table, and also importantly that in the pilt tables, how these key planets are going to be more useful in identifying the favorable significator, unfavorable significator. That will be a good tool I will be explaining in the coming video. I hope you understand about this usage of key planets, and we'll meet in the next video. Thanks for learning EP System of Astrology. If you like this video, you can share it and subscribe it. If you like to learn EPS system through online courses and direct courses, and also for EPS system software, you can contact me on the given number and email ID. Thank you for watching. Om Sai Ram.